You walk into your Cambridge AS level information technology exam. You see a standard question about data and information, and you write down exactly what you memorized from the textbook. You think you absolutely nailed it. But you didn't. In fact, you literally just fell into the single most common trap in the entire 9626 syllabus. Let's look at exactly why that happens. Look at this classic student's answer. Data is raw facts. Information is processed data. I mean, it sounds correct, right? It's the standard textbook definition. But look at the result. Marks awarded, 1 out of 6. Writing this kind of generic, disconnected definition in a scenario-based question is a massive, massive mistake. And this brilliantly illustrates the danger. 1. That is the single mark you get. This generic, memorized response just cost you 5 crucial marks. And you know how the Cambridge grading system works. Throwing away 5 marks on a foundational concept isn't just a minor slip-up. It's potentially the difference between an A and a B or a B and a C. It can literally cost you a whole grade boundary. Part 1. Why ordinary revision fails. So let's dive into this and figure out what's actually going wrong here. The exact anatomy of a weak answer usually breaks down into 4 parts. The most common errors we see in the 9626 syllabus aren't happening because students don't know the technology. Not at all. It's because of vague wording, confusing similar concepts, like mixing up validation and verification, missing the actual steps of a process, and above all, failing to anchor the technical explanation to the scenario provided. You can't just name drop a concept. You have to explain the mechanism clearly and specifically.
The whole thing is summarized perfectly by this examiner feedback. Students frequently know the theory but lose marks because they fail to anchor the explanation to the situation they have been given. So if you've ever felt totally frustrated because you knew the material but still didn't get the grade, well, this validates that frustration. Your intelligence isn't the issue here. Your exam strategy is.
Part 2, the high mark answer framework. Let's fix this right now with a structural solution. Enter the Peel framework. This is exactly how you force your brain to connect technical knowledge back to the exam's specific context. Step 1, point, identify the exact requirement or technology. Step 2, evidence, pull specific details straight out of the provided scenario. Step 3, explanation, describe exactly how the process works in a clear sequence. Step 4, link, connect the technical process directly back to the practical consequence for the user or organization. And step 5, judgment. If you're asked, evaluate why it's better or worse than an alternative. This structure physically prevents you from writing isolated, generic facts. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to show you the hidden examiner clue that absolutely changes your answer completely. It's literally the difference between scraping 2 marks and securing a perfect 6. But first, you have to know exactly how to deploy this framework when the clock is actually ticking. Part 3, the examiner checkpoint challenge. Okay, time to shift gears. I want you to act as the examiner for a second. Let's look at a highly realistic Cambridge AS level IT scenario. A hospital uses a real-time monitoring system for patient vitals. Keep this exact context in your head. Hospital, real-time monitoring, patient vitals. Now, a student writes this answer. Real-time processing processes data immediately without any delay. It inputs data, processes it, and updates the system instantly. So, put your examiner hat on. What is missing here? Take a second and predict what the examiner is going to write in red ink next to this. Did you spot the error? Why does that answer completely fail the Cambridge rubric for this specific hospital scenario? Well, think back to our Peel framework. The student made a point, and they definitely gave a basic explanation. But they completely missed the evidence and the link. They didn't anchor it to the hospital at all. Let's contrast the two. We just saw the generic textbook definition, but look at this top-band answer instead. The hospital monitoring system uses real-time processing because sensors continuously input patient vitals like heart rate. This data is processed immediately against preset normal parameters. If a vital drops, the system instantly triggers an alarm, linking directly to immediate medical intervention. Wow, do you see the difference there? The top-band answer justifies its points using the specific hospital context. It explains the exact sequence of operations, sensor input, processing against parameters, and triggering an alarm. And this brilliantly illustrates our golden rule, straight from the examiner's mouth. If the context is a monitoring system, the answer must stay within that context and explain the exact sequence of operations. Generic answers are in 1s and 2s, specific answers are in 5s and 6s. Part 4, the 4-prompt memory structure. So how do we make sure your brain is wired to produce these top-band answers on demand? If you want to know if you truly actually understand a concept in the 9626 syllabus, ask yourself these 4 prompts out loud. 1. What is it? 2. How does it work? Explain the sequence. 3. Where is it used? Give me a real-world scenario. And 4. Why is it better or worse than the alternative in that specific situation? If you stammer or if you can only answer prompt number 1, your revision for that topic is incomplete. You've got to rebuild your understanding before you walk into that exam hall.
A lot of this just comes down to mastering foundational contrasts. Typical AS level errors stem from confusing closely related concepts. You need to be able to use that 4-prompt structure to clearly separate validation, which checks if data is reasonable, from verification, which checks if it's identical to the original, or separating online processing, like booking a concert ticket, from real-time processing, like flying an airplane or monitoring a hospital patient.
So moving forward, you need to rebuild your revision sessions around these 3 pillars. Start with the core contrast so you avoid confusing similar terms, walk through a worked example to understand the exact sequence of operations, and finally, test yourself with a scenario-based question to practice actually anchoring your knowledge. Part 5, the hidden mark killer. Okay, this is where things get genuinely dangerous. You could do everything right and still fail. Look at this performance breakdown. Imagine this. You apply the Peel framework perfectly. You use the context. You explain the exact sequence flawlessly, but you still score only 2 out of 6 marks. Honestly, this should terrify you. How can a perfectly structured answer, packed with totally accurate theory and brilliant contextual evidence, still result in a failing grade? What could possibly cause an examiner to cap your score so brutally low? The answer is simple, and it's devastating. You misread the command word. You see, knowing the theory and having the right framework just isn't enough if you don't speak the examiner's secret language. Words like explain, analyze, and evaluate aren't just polite suggestions. They act as rigid, unforgiving gates that dictate your maximum possible mark band. If a question asks you to evaluate and you only explain, your perfect Peel structure won't save you from being capped at a low grade. Understanding this secret language is an absolute necessity if you want to secure your marks. You absolutely cannot afford to lose marks because you misunderstood a single word in the prompt. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCS to excel in your Cambridge examinations. You must watch our command words explainer next. It's on the screen right now. Click it and let's unlock the secret language that guarantees your top grade. See you over there.